Hello, 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 and welcome to the Radiant Rebirth online retreat, where we are igniting our age of empowerment, owning who we truly are, gaining clarity of direction so that we may take those soul aligned steps with joy, grace, and ease. Today, I have the incredible pleasure of being joined by Lynn. Debbie is a transformational leader, an author, a speaker, an empath, and an intuitive, amongst many other things, who works with conscious individuals to dissolve energy blocks and activate authentic power by raising their vibration and creating soul alignment. Debbie, it's such a pleasure to have you here with us today. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for asking me. I'm delighted to be joining this.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. So I know that we're going to be speaking about, or you're going to be speaking about unlocking your intuition through the magic of harmony, through the magic of harmony. And I just love that title. Why is harmony so important for women who are heading into their age of empowerment?
Well, I'll get into that a lot more. I
Beautiful.
think I think the bigger question is, why is intuition so
Mm,
important for women entering into, it's like harmony is just a, back door. It's one way to get to your intuition. But I think
yeah.
by the time, as you get older, you start to you have life wisdom, right? Which you don't have when you're younger. And when you're younger, you're much more logical brain. This is what's in front of me. This is what seems to be strategic. This is what makes sense. All of
Mm,
those things, right? When you're younger, it's the pros and cons list and all of that. And I think as you get older, you have life wisdom underneath your belt and you
mhm,
relax a little bit more and you realize, yeah, sometimes something that's in front of you isn't actually the right thing in front of you. That's not the thing that you're looking for. And
yes.
so intuition becomes so much more important because I think that when you hit a certain point in your life, you realize, you know, there's more, there's more behind me than there's in front of me. So I want to be more discerning about what I do. I want to
Mhm,
be more discerning about what's real for me, what's authentic for me. And when you
mhm.
start to enter into the realm of authenticity, what's authentic for me, you actually exit what's logical and you move much more into what's intuitive. And that's what's so important.
Oh, amazing, amazing. I could ask you so many questions about intuition, but I don't want to sort of delay your talk. But I guess, and you're going to talk about, how to tap into the intuition.
Mhm.
Are there some times or instances when people are afraid of their intuition?
I certainly was.
Mm,
I would say I was afraid of it, but
mhm,
I pretty much, I've been speaking about intuition for, decades. And whenever I'm in front of an audience or in front of a group or whatever, and I say, have you ever had an intuitive thought and then you overrode it? You didn't
mhm.
follow it, did you regret it? And every single hand goes up. I mean, everybody has that story of I had this real strong hunch or gut feeling or instinct or intuition, whichever word you want to use, that I was supposed to do this. But I'm like, oh, but it was too, like, it scared me. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I have more of those than I can count, right? But
Mm,
I also fortunately have way more now in my life where I'm like, I live by my higher guidance. I don't live by my logical self because my logical self is just too small of a world. And I think when I know we've talked a little bit, you have your own personal stories about how many
mm.
times your intuition told you to do something and everybody else thought, why would you do that? Can you tell me how many times, if you had a dollar for every time somebody has said that to you, right? Like, why would
Have
you
you
do
gone back?
that?
Have you gone back what I normally
Yeah.
get? Yeah, I totally
Yeah,
understand.
right. You'd be pretty wealthy, right? So I've had my higher guidance has come in and give me some serious left turns in my life, like
Mm,
big left turns in my life that were some of them, all of them actually, until like probably the last 10 years. Before that, all of them were flat out terrifying, including downloading 20 years ago my calling, which is show people how to live in alignment with their soul. I was a marketing consultant, and
Wow.
I was a big flat no for that. I'm like, why me? No, you got I literally like, I channeled my calling, very specific detail, very stuff that I am honored and blessed to do today. Like, I
Mm,
can't imagine not doing this. The 20 years ago, when I, have built this big following and I'm helping people build their businesses and I'm speaking and it's my expertise, and the universe downloads and says, "Oh no, you're supposed to show people how to align with their soul and how to align with the universe, just like you're showing them how to align in their business." And I'm like,
mm,
"No, you got ask the wrong person. I don't know how to do that." And it also it made me have to be authentic. I had to
mm,
share with the audience some things that I was doing that was helping people in their business, but it would also reveal a very private piece of myself that I wasn't ready to share, being that I'd been doing energy work for a dozen years. And my energy work and my gift and ability to track energy flow that I was using and that intuitive, I am an intuitive, and that intuitive guidance to show people things about their business that they didn't know.
mm,
And I was using that gift to help them, but I never told them I had this gift. I didn't tell people I knew energy work. I didn't tell people I could track the energy flow in their business and the energy blocks. I didn't tell them how I knew what was happening with them internally because I
mhm.
was getting very specific downloads and information about what was going on with them internally. I didn't share any of that stuff. All I know is that they were making lots of money. They were following my advice and making a lot of money. So I thought, I'm not saying this out loud. People will think I'm crazy
Yeah.
until the universe took that out of my hands and sort of made me myself to literally out myself to to my following, to the general public. And there you have it. I mean, when we're younger, this. Like when
Mm,
you enter into school, they don't teach you intuition and logic. I mean, I'm sorry, intuition. They teach you logic.
mhm,
And, you do math. Math is most math, is logical, right? And so you're learning in school things that are very, very logical, and you're rewarded for being logical.
mhm.
Right? Who came up with that whole approach of pros and cons list? I mean, who came up with that nonsense about let me just like see what's logical? Well, here, because ultimately, if you ever make a pro and con list, you still go by your own emotion.
Yeah.
You can 25 things in the con list. And if it's a person that you've got insane chemistry with, and there's only three things that's on the pro list, and one of them is like big chemistry, how many times have you overridden cons? Because all those cons are literally your intuition screaming at you with all the red flags.
Absolutely. Absolutely. More more times than I probably care to think about, really. Absolutely.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
uh, one more question, and I'll let you kind of speak to your topic, but this one question is coming through. So you have this job in marketing, you're successful, you're helping people, you're not telling them how you're doing it. Eventually you get this download that says you've got to live authentically, you've got to share. How did you trust that nudge? You downloaded it, but how did you trust that nudge to then move forward into your calling?
I didn't trust it at all. I mean, I'm flat out honest. I mean, I was doing energy work when I launched my my business, my marketing consulting business 30 years ago. And I was a left brain, analytical, strategic thinking, very logical type of personality, very type A, high achiever, worked up my way up in my career really fast at a very young age. And when I went out on my own, it wasn't long after I did that my husband asked me for a divorce, and like my world kind of fell apart at that moment. And I'm just starting this fledgling business. And remember, I did this before we were online, back in the Stone Ages, right? The Dark Ages, before we had the internet, and which seems inconceivable, right? And my older sister Lisa was an energy worker, a healer, an
Mm,
intuitive, very gifted, which we were so far apart. I'm like, you're woo woo and weird. And now 30 years ago, that was not a common thing at all.
mm,
You didn't talk about spirituality out loud. You certainly didn't talk about energy work. It's kind of amazing how far we've come in our, conscious evolution. But I turned to her along with other people for my healing. And she said something that changed my life, which is, "It's time for you to learn what I do." And I said,
Mm.
"Why would I do that?" And she said, "Because it will help you heal." And that's all I needed. At that moment, I just wanted to heal my heart. I mean, I was just so devastated and broken. So what I didn't know was I was building my marketing consulting business by day, and by night I was learning this type of energy work called flow, alignment, and connection. And it's just the ability to track energy flow in a situation. And in my world, I do it in tracking energy flow with people, and I can do it in situations. I can do it in somebody's business. I can track energy flow in anything and identify where the block is and facilitate that block to be released. And I didn't know it was going to activate this higher guidance, this higher intuitive power, and this power to track energy flow in anything. I wasn't taught that. That was activated within me. I was taught to do a very specific energy discipline, which is not what I do today. And so let's fast forward 10 years. 10 years. I'm, building, I'm now speaking all over the world. I'm an author. I've published in lots of magazines and newspapers. And I'm thinking life is great because I now have this new superpower that's really helping my clients. This is before we had life coaches. And I'm sort of doing that kind of work. It's transformational work with my clients besides marketing consulting. And it was all, to me in my head, it was all the same thing. And then one day I got a message. I woke up and there was this very loud voice in my head, very clear, said, "Go to your computer, turn it on." So I went to my computer. I jumped out of bed, went to my computer, turned it on, and my fingers literally started to move by themselves. And I'm looking at the screen while I'm typing, and they literally moved by themselves. And this was hours. And I typed this very lengthy document that said, basically, you came here, it's your calling and your purpose to show people how to align with their soul, how to align with the universe, just like you're showing them now how to align with their business, which
Wow.
is what I wrote about in my book, Business Alignment and Marketing Alignment. And I'm telling you, my heart, my stomach dropped. I started to get seriously nauseous.
Wow.
And I started to cry because not with tears of joy. Do you know how many people I work with today that want to know what their purpose is? You know what I mean? And I got my purpose right there in black computer screen. And I said, "No, you have the wrong person." And I put my finger over the delete button. So did you follow your intuition? No, I did, but I didn't delete it. I called Lisa, my sister, and I told her what happened. And I just was in tears. And it said, "You're going to get a group of people from the United States. You're going to work with them for 6 months. You're going to show them how to do this." It was very specific.
Wow.
And I just cried to her and said, what do I do? What do I do?" And she laughed and she said, "I don't understand your question." I said, "Well, what do I do?" She said, "You just typed a document that literally told you exactly what to do." And I said, "I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to align with your soul. I have no idea. I don't know what that means. I don't, and then I also don't talk about soul alignment to the public. So
Yeah.
this means I have to, where's the segue from marketing to soul alignment? That just made no logical sense in my head.
Yeah.
And I sat on it until the universe took that decision out of my hand, to be perfectly honest, because
Okay.
that voice came back and it said, "Go to your computer and turn it on." And I went to my computer, I turned it on again, and now I'm typing an email. And
Wow.
I'm typing an email. Like I swear to God, it was guided. And my fingers were moving on their own volition, typing because now I have a following all over the world. I'm online. It's a database. This is 2000, that's 2004, 2005, so 2004, somewhere around there. And I'm online and I'm published and there I am typing an email. I'm reading the screen and it says, "I'm about to share a personal story I've never shared ever before in public. I'm going to show you, I'm going to do a 3-part webinar. I'm going to show you how to align with your soul, how to align with how to align with the universe and how to align your business." And I hit send, Kia, before I even knew what I was doing. I literally hit send. And I'm like, what just happened? Like literally what just happened? And Yeah. And so, yeah, that's how that's how I outed myself. And you know what's interesting? I still have people on my list today that were attended that webinar series. They remember
Wow.
that webinar series. And I just shared the same story I just shared just now, 20 years ago. And here's the interesting thing. And if you could, anybody could walk away with anything from my talk before I even get into harmony,
Yeah.
walk away with this is that when I gave the first part in that three-part webinar series, I told the story I just told all of you. Okay, so I just told the story about me, channeling and how I got into energy work and what this, how I got this calling and blah, blah, blah. And that was the first webinar of the three-part series. And when I was done with that webinar, I hung up the phone and I put my head down and I literally thought, that's it. Everybody's going to hit unsubscribe. Like I was convinced that people were going to think I was crazy because quite honestly, people didn't talk about doing energy work 20 years ago. It still was
Mm,
pretty hush hush underground. And I thought they're going to think why am I talking about this? Because that's all that I could think of in my head was I really messed up.
mm.
And telling you, I got flooded
Wow.
with emails, and I was terrified to open them up. And I opened up one and then the next one and the next one, and everybody had the same message. Oh my God, you changed my life. That was so inspirational. I've never had the courage to tell my personal story. And
Wow.
now you just gave me the courage to share my gifts and my story out loud. And it was like email after, and turns out, of course, I had a whole list of highly sensitive people, and I had a whole list of people that were holistic healers. Even nobody was, they were following me I wasn't even marketing to holistic healers, but then I started marketing to holistic healers and coaches and everything like that. But it was from that I learned I just naturally was drawing these people to my list without even knowing it.
Not knowing it.
And yes,
Wow.
that changed everything. And so, moving into this,
Mm,
you're going to have times where everybody has a story of, yes, I had this gut instinct and I followed it, and thank God I did. And everybody has a story of I had a gut instinct or an intuition and I didn't follow it. What if I didn't follow? I didn't follow it until the universe was loud. Because when you have, there's going to be some things that's a quick hit that your intuition's going to come in and share with you something like what's right here, like turn left because turning left, it turns out you're running late. Let's say you're running late for a meeting and you
yeah.
go a normal route to get to this place. And all of a sudden you get this kind of hit says turn left, go here instead and take a different route. You don't follow it, you follow it and turns out, there was an accident on the normal route that you normally go, which you didn't know about until later. You made the meeting, you even had a minute to spare. We don't know. The thing is about intuition is your intuition is the collective consciousness coming through you for your higher guidance in that moment.
Mm,
Your brain does not have the collective consciousness. We are a small speck. Our brain is a powerful, powerful, powerful tool. And it can be connected to the higher consciousness. We're connected to the higher consciousness, but it doesn't have all the knowledge and wisdom of the collective consciousness. So
true.
there's no way if you had said to me 20 years ago, without me channeling this, let's say you and I had a conversation, right?
Yeah.
And you said, just listening to you, I just kind of have this feeling like you should really be teaching spirituality, Debbie. And I would have thought, oh, she's a great lady, but she's crazy. She's no idea what she's talking about. I'm here to teach marketing and business growth. And I love teaching business growth. I love helping people make a lot of money. I love that, right? So why would I do that? Right. So the thing is that we have so much evidence, but it's like, how do we access it? Because it's available 24/7. Because
Mm,
that voice has come to me probably a dozen times over the last 20 years or so. Okay. That strong, do this. And I have fought it a couple of times and I don't fight it. I welcome it now. Like, and it's taken me on some serious left turns in my life. And like serious left turns, but it doesn't always come that way. Your
mm,
intuition can talk to you as just sort of a subtle. hunch, you know what I mean? A gut instinct. It can talk to you like a gentle whisper. It can talk to you like, "Hmm, you know, I don't know why I'm thinking this, but it just all of a sudden this thought comes in your brain and you don't even know why you're thinking it, a non sequitur. Like you don't even
Yeah.
know. Or somebody presents you you know, an opportunity, and for whatever reason, it really makes no sense on paper in your
Hmm.
life, but you're like, oh, I just feel like I should take that. It can be that subtle. It can be that
Hmm.
subtle. But I'll tell you, there's three things that have to be present if you want to sort of be more present to that muscle, because that power is available to you 24/7. So
Beautiful.
instead of you waiting around for it, you know, waiting for it to show up, it literally is knocking on your door every day, but we
Hmm.
drown it out because sometimes it is so subtle. We drown it out by the busyness of our life. So there is three things that you do have to be present to. Well, the first one is presence. You have to
Mm.
be present to acknowledging in this moment something has just happened. In this moment, I just got a hunch. In this moment, I got an instinct. In this moment, I just sort of had this new idea. I don't know where it came from. Because it shows up in a lot of different forms. In this moment, I mean, that voice was so loud in my head, I thought everybody heard it. You know, it's kind of like looking around, who just said that to me? You know? So that voice sometimes is really loud, but normally it doesn't show up that way.
Hmm.
Normally it just shows up like, yep, there it is. There's what feels right. You know, that's what feels right. Okay. So you have to be present because we live a lot of our life not in the present moment.
That's
We
right.
live our life thinking in our head, what just happened yesterday? Oh, I screwed up. I should have done this. I didn't finish my to-do list. Or we're living in the future. What's on my to-do list? I got all these things to do. I got this call later. I got this meeting later. So we're usually in the past or the present in our head. Your intuition can only be, you can only access it in the present moment. You have to be present. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that you need the space to hear it, because you
Mm.
know that your intuition, again, it's coming from the collective consciousness through your soul, which means it's for your specific higher guidance. It's specifically for you. Okay. You didn't channel that document that I channeled. That was for me. But you got, also, as you and I know, the universe works in mysterious ways. Because sometimes, believe it or not, that messenger that's for your higher good comes from another person, or it comes from a TV program, or it comes from an email that you just opened up and you're like, that's the answer I was looking for. But you need the space to receive it. Because
Hmm.
if you're so busy in your busyness of life, you don't have space to let those higher vibration messages come through. So that's the second thing you need. The third thing you need is to just be okay, and let's just be in agreement that we're not talking about our logical mind. That message is not coming from your logical mind. Okay. And it's actually not coming from internal. It's being delivered to you so you experience it internally, but it's not coming as an original thought from your brain. It's coming through you.
Mm.
Okay. And so if you understand, you need to bypass your logical mind. Do you ever realize, I don't know about you, but I don't know when you get your greatest creative bursts, but I tend to get the most brilliant, the next video I have to do, the opening to my talk, the next email I have to write, because I write so much copy and I hate writing, but it's the bane of my existence, but I do a lot of it. And the fact of the matter is, can't tell you how many times I've sat in front of my computer and just stared at the screen. Like I have the time, I gotta write this, or I'll write and write and write and throw it all out. Go, this is garbage to get out of the way. It's a minute. I then go to make lunch, right? And I'm not paying attention. Download, like massive download with all the right words. Because I didn't have this, I opened up to that space. I bypassed my logical brain. Wasn't trying so hard, right?
Yeah,
So, did this make sense?
it
You know,
makes
those,
total sense. And for me,
yeah.
it's normally at 3 o'clock in the morning for some reason.
Yeah, right,
I say that's
right.
when it's
Because
quiet.
you need to shut down. Yeah.
I need,
That's why.
and it all comes at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
Um,
right, right.
those are really that's really wonderful. So presence, we need to be in the present moment, acknowledge the present moment. That's the only time our intuition, that's what I'm understanding, the only time our intuition
The
can
only
really
time you hear it. That's the only time you hear it
hear
or
it.
sense it or acknowledge it is in the present
It's in the
moment.
present
It's not in
moment.
the future. It's not in the past. Only the present.
Beautiful. And then giving
Yeah.
ourselves space to hear it and receive it. And I love that you said, not just hear it, but also receive it, receive
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to come, and it's not going to come through our brain, and it's not going to come through our logical mind. It's going to come through us. That intuition is going to come through us.
Yeah.
And is that the harmony piece?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Your intuition is a message for you. And
Mm,
even if that message is to not do something, because you're when it comes as an intuitive, if it's coming as words in your head, it's going to come as a command. Okay.
mm,
And the command for me was go to your computer and turn it on. And that just started the flow. Okay. So the command could be turn left instead of right. And so you were going to turn right. It says turn left. Command is step away from the curb. Do not go on a date with that person. Like it's going to come as a command without a big long explanation. It's not going to say that person is, an abuser or a bully or whatever, right? And because usually when it comes as a command, especially when it comes as a command, it doesn't tell you the story. It doesn't say because I'm
mm.
about to give you. It didn't say because I'm about to download for you your life's calling.
Yeah,
It just is what's right in front of you. It comes as a command, right?
love it.
So the thing is, it's always your higher guidance. So you're asking about why is harmony so important?
Mm,
Harmony is the vibration. When you experience the vibration of harmony, you're experiencing the vibration of what's true for your authentic being. What's your authentic being? So if I said to you, think about all the friends that you like, people like that are in your life that are with on a relatively talk to on a regular basis. If you really were to just tune into that, you're going to find that there's a certain percentage of those people. It might be 100%, but it might only be 50% of those people. It said, how many of those people are actually in harmony with your authentic being? Like
mm,
really in harmony with your authentic being, that you can be fully you, fully self-expressed, fully safe, and it's rare that we have everybody in our life that we're fully, but what it's doing is it's making you realize what's truth for you, because it can also show you, you know, because I'm such a loyal person, I've known this person for 40 years, or, I grew up with them. They're in my life, but perfectly honest, they're always full of drama. They
yeah,
always got something going on. They always bring kind of this cloud of doom and gloom whenever I'm with them. But I feel so loyal for them. But the bottom line is, I am not in harmony with them at all. So when
yeah.
you start to access harmony, it puts you in that state where being present to your intuition is much easier. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you think about it, you can ask yourself questions like this. Is what I'm wearing today in harmony with my authentic self?
Oh,
Or did
wow.
I just pull out something out of my closet? Is this really making me feel like in the moment more powerful, more present, whatever? Are the people in my life in harmony? Like individually, let me think about each one individually. Is this person really in harmony with my being? And when
Mm,
I think your being, I want you to think to yourself, my most powerful self. Like replace that words with my authentic being and my most powerful self.
wow.
Is this my office set up for me to really radiate my most powerful self? Is it in harmony with me?
Hmm.
Harmony with my most powerful self is where I live. Now I'm a water sign, and I have to be by a body of water. I am so in tune to water that I can drive somewhere and know there's a body of water close before I've never been to the city. I have no idea that there's a lake nearby or a river nearby or whatever. I can feel that water. That's how in tune to water I am. So it has to be bigger than a pond or a fountain, right? I'm talking about a natural body of water, right? I
Mm,
can feel it's like all of a sudden my body relaxes. So I live in San Diego. I'm 5 miles from the ocean,
amazing.
right? So It's just something about my energy field. I can go to places that are no water, and I can be in the mountains, and it could be absolutely beautiful, but I need to feel some body of water near me. It's just something about it harmonizes with my being.
Harmonizes you.
So that's why harmony, it's not just being present. If you add that distinction of harmony, it
Mm.
just relaxes your body. And your body is the truth teller.
Hmm.
Your body it never lies. Your
Eyes.
mind will lie to you all day long. Your body never lies. So if you say, is this person in harmony with my authentic self? Your body's going to tell you immediately. Ooh,
Mm.
no, right? Or yes, I just feel great in the presence of that person. So harmony gives you, when you work that muscle of harmony, not only are you continually activating your authentic being and your authentic power, you're continually activating it. You're then opening up to that space and you're being present because you wouldn't know something is in harmony with you unless you were present to it, would you?
No, that's beautiful. That's
Yeah.
just beautiful. And I love that question, is this person in harmony with me, with my, I think you said my most authentic self, my being, my
Hmm.
being.
Hmm.
Even down to, is what I'm wearing, is it in
Yeah.
harmony with my being, my most authentic self? And I think that's a great question that people can take away and use in any facet of their lives. Thank you so much for sharing that with us and sharing your story with us. It's so inspirational, and I love the authenticity and the humanity in it. You're like, I didn't want to, but I just listened to the message. I didn't trust it,
Yeah.
just followed it. And I think a lot of people can probably resonate with getting those nudges and talking themselves out of it. So I really appreciate you sharing that with us. So in the time that we have left, so if people were looking to get in contact with you, if they wanted to
Yeah.
work with you a little bit more or
Yeah.
find out more about you, how can they get in contact with you?
Yeah, you can go to debbielynngrace.com, and or you can email me at customercare at debbielynngrace.com. And yeah, and there's a free on my website, there's an opportunity of a free class. It's a 4-part video class program on how to become a manifesting master.
Beautiful.
So, which really puts you into those higher vibrations of being able to manifest whatever you want, and you can access that. And that's how people can get in touch with me.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And there are so many gems in our conversation today. But if there was one thing that you had to leave with our audience, what would be the one thing that you would share?
I think the one thing that I would share is that you don't realize the power of what the universe gave you when it comes to your
Mm,
intuition. It
mm,
is probably one of the greatest gifts that you actually have access to as a human being. And it is something because if when you have access to the collective consciousness that knows all, but
mm.
it's not just about knowledge, it's about your soul came here to direct you and your most powerful self. And this whole series, right, is about you going to and moving forward as your most powerful self.
That's right.
And so if you were just go down to the basics and use the questions of, is this new opportunity in harmony with my being?
Mm,
Is this and it might not, and remember when I say harmony, your intuition is gonna sometimes come in and just tell you something that's absolutely terrifying, terrifying. But if you walk away with anything, it's to know that when you're getting guidance, even if it's absolutely terrifying and you never thought of yourself that way, you never saw yourself in it, you never would have considered this. If it is truly your intuition and higher guidance talking, it's got some big things in store for you. And that's just the first step. And
oh,
that's what I would walk away with.
I love that so much. So much juiciness and potency in these messages. Debbie, thank you so much for sharing all of this with
You're
us.
welcome.
I feel blessed, and I know our audience will feel blessed as well. Thank you so much. and have a great day. Really grateful. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Truly
Take,
honored.
thank you.